Hey everybody, I want to thank you guys for tuning in and just remind you to support the Real Nagas channel. Please go to patreon.com/realnagas and subscribe. Also go to realnagas.com/shop and get some of that wonderful gear I have in the shop for you guys. Please help me to help you. Also be on the lookout for the I Am Killmonger shirts that I will have in there this week. Also, if you want to support the Cop Stop Guardian movement, please go to gofundme.com/copstopguardian and do that, or just click on any of the links below to support your boy. Thank you guys for your support and enjoy the show. From the time we are born, we're taught to recognize shapes and symbols to give us meaning of the world around us. The more we are exposed to those shapes and symbols, the greater the understanding of our environment and world. For example, take the McDonald's M, or what most people know as the Golden Arches. Anytime someone sees this symbol in the world, they immediately know it means food, no matter what language you speak. Or take the color red on any public or private sign. It usually means stop, no matter what country you're in. Shapes and symbols are a major way of how we communicate with our environment, mostly because symbols are a way to communicate with shapes instead of sound. One symbol can have multiple meanings to multiple people, or different symbols can all mean the same thing. We use symbols when we write to communicate and convey meaning without spoken words every day. But what most of us don't know is that these shapes and symbols we use every day have a far greater history and meaning than we could possibly imagine. But before we get into those symbols and their hidden meanings, we must first understand what a symbol is. The etymology of symbol is to put or throw together. It's from the Greek symbolon, which means mark, ticket, or token. And its underlying meaning was to put different things together to represent a thought, word, or idea. Shapes and symbols can convey the simplest of everyday meanings to the deepest and most esoteric teachings about history, spirituality, life, and the universe. With the invention of storytelling, through books, theater, and later on movies, symbolism became more advanced and weaponized to indoctrinate villages, cities, and countries. In the 21st century, television, movies, and technology has increased the complexity in the way symbolism is shared. However, the messages remain the same and as powerful and sometimes as ancient as the practice itself. For example, take the Gmail logo. Most of you think it's just a regular red M on top of a white envelope. However, its true symbol is the Freemasonic apron of a master mason. This is called hiding something in plain sight. They know that most people are too lazy to research anything and will take whatever they're shown at face value. However, these symbols contain powerful energy and vibrations that affect the psyche of a person who sees them, whether they know the message being conveyed or not. The word logo comes from the Greek logos, which means word, speech, or to reason. So from its very definition, a logo is a symbol that is trying to convey a word or message. Another example would be the Wendy's logo. At first glance, it just looks like an average freckle-faced, pig-tailed, redhead little girl inside of a circle with a collar or necklace around her neck. However, if you take a harder look, the necklace or collar is the word mom, because they want you to associate their food with your mother's. And that's how symbolism works. Something as plain and simple as the word mom hidden within the collar of the girl on the Wendy's logo. So whether it's consciously or subconsciously, symbols speak to our psyche or mind, evoking certain thoughts, responses, and actions as soon as we come in contact with them, or delayed reactions until we come across other information that fills in the blanks about the symbolism we've previously been exposed to. This series will attempt to shine a light on many of the hidden and not so hidden shapes and occult symbols that pervade our everyday lives but may have escaped our attention, like Freemasonry symbolism, monarchy or king and queen symbolism, fertility symbolism of the cosmic mother and father, higher consciousness symbolism, symbolism in TV and movies, numerology symbolism, and alien human creation symbolism, and much, much more. Now, before we go any further, I think it's important for us to know why symbols and shapes mean so much to us and hold so much power over us at the same time. As I've stated in previous videos, everything in existence is energy and vibration, which then leads to frequency, which is how fast or slow something is vibrating. So the more complex the shape or form, the higher the rate of vibration or frequency.
Now, cymatics is the process of visualizing sound by basically vibrating a medium such as sand or water, as you can see there. So if we have a quick look at the history of cymatics, beginning with the observations of resonance by Da Vinci, Galileo, the English scientist Robert Hooke, and then Ernest Chladni. And he created an experiment using a metal plate, covering it with sand, and then bowing it to create the Chladni patterns that you see here on the right. Moving on from this, the next person to explore this field was a gentleman called Hans Jenny in the 1970s, and he actually coined the term cymatics. And then bringing us into the present day is a fellow collaborator of mine and cymatics expert, John Stuart Reid, and he's kindly recreated for us the Chladni experiment. What we can see here is a metal sheet, this time connected to a sound driver and being fed by a frequency generator. And as the frequencies increase, so do the complexities of the patterns that appear on the plate, as you can see for your own eyes.
So as you can see from these videos on cymatics, every shape or form has a definite frequency or rate of vibration, and vice versa. And as that frequency or vibration rises, so does the sophistication of the design or image. The word complex in its definition means composed of many parts. However, its etymology or true meaning is to weave together. It's basically a harmonic blending of all parts of a thing to make a beautiful whole. And with this understanding of the definition, we can say, the deeper the message being conveyed, the more elaborate the symbolism will be conveying the message. As stated, you are conditioned every day to recognize and respond to symbols. The most common and recognizable today would be emojis. Many people around the world have created their own emoji language without actual words, which is symbolism at its core. Even the creators of emoji have racist symbolism embedded in the design. For instance, every single person emoji has a racist alternative to choose from. However, the emojis that symbolize unity, which would be the handshake emoji or the family and friends emojis, do not have a racial alternative. They only have the blonde-haired Caucasian family and friends, and they only have the pale hands for handshaking. And believe they did not leave that out by mistake. When we get into the symbolism of TV, movies, and plays, we call this situation symbolism. Just like a situation comedy or a sitcom is made up reality based on real life situations to evoke laughter, movies and TV dramas are made up situations based on real life to communicate deeper messages and invoke deeper emotions that you can hopefully learn and grow from. With that said, the first symbol or shape that we're going to break down is the line. In the book Occult Geometry by A.S. Raleigh, it states, "The line represents motion in two opposite directions. It is, consequently, the geometrical representation of the law of opposites. One motion will always move in a circle, but when two opposite motions are introduced, we have the line." Now, as we can see from this quote, the line represents the law of opposites in nature. basically the yin and yang or masculine and feminine principles at work to create a balance or equilibrium. However, on a deeper scale, the line represents the masculine principle exclusively, being that it is straightforward, hard, and rigid, and unforgiving when its integrity has been breached. The line is also symbolic of the male phallus regenerative principle. Again, this would be the creative energy flowing outward. So if the straight line symbolically represents the masculine principle in nature, then its opposite would have to be the circle, also known as the feminine principle in nature. The circle. Again, reading from Occult Geometry by A.S. Raleigh, it states, "The circle from the earliest of antiquity has been employed as the symbol for eternity and unity. The circle is a line beginning at a point and traveling in a curve until it returns to the same point. Consequently, it has no beginning and no end. It is for this reason employed as the symbol for eternity, eternity being in the strictest sense of the word beginningless and endless. As previously stated, the circle is also a representation of the divine feminine principle or the cosmic womb from which all creation flows. It is a symbol of the harmony of creation, the soft principle in nature and the spiritual world. Its circumference is 360 degrees, which when added up equals the supreme number 9, the occult number of creation. However, its numerical representation would be the number 1 for unity, as the line is the number 2 for duality. Side note, we will cover this supreme master number 9 in future numerology episodes, but for now just know the number 9 is the highest number in the universe and the only number that stands alone or can't be combined with any other number to form a new one. If you take the number 9 and add it to any number, the sum of that number will equal whichever number you added to the 9 in the first place. Example, 9 plus 7 is 16, but then 1 plus 6 equals 7, the original number that started with the 9, basically taking you back to the beginning or 360 degrees. And this will be true for any number or numbers added to the 9. Just try it and see. The triangle. The triangle symbolizes the law of balance, the law of opposites, the yin and yang, positive and negative, masculine and feminine, become one in the triangle. Its numerical representation is the number 3, for it is the mother, father, and child in one. The triangle or pyramid is the strongest structure in nature. The water molecule is in the shape of a pyramid, or a V if you flip it upside down. The pyramids of Egypt have stood for thousands of years and are nowhere near in danger of ever coming down. The triangle is one of, if not the most sacred symbol in occult teachings. As we said, the triangle by itself represents the trinity and balance, as well as the male phallus or penis. However, if you flip it upside down, it's the symbol for the vagina or divine feminine. Then if you lay the upright triangle over the inverted triangle, you get the union of the divine mother and father, or the masculine and feminine, which is the basis for all creation. The square. Lastly, we have the square. On the surface, the square is symbolic of stability and foundation. Esoterically, however, as the circle symbolizes smooth, soft creation, the square symbolizes rough or hard creation. With the circle being the feminine principle in nature and representative of the spiritual world, the square is the masculine principle and represents the physical world. Opposite in appearance, yet equal in degree, as both have a 360-degree radius, again bringing forth the supreme number 9, or the number of creation. The square is also representative of the 4 base elements of life: hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, and carbon. As well, it symbolizes the 4 seasons and the 4 cardinal points of the zodiac: Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn. To the Freemasons, the square represents earth and order from chaos, otherwise known as the circle. In the circle, everything is one and formless. Chaos means the gaping void, and it comes from the same word that produced yawn, which is a wide gaping mouth. It is symbolic of the cosmic vagina and womb, the gaping void, the yawn, or yoni, or yoni. More on this in the episode Symbolism of the Cosmic Mother and Father. For now, just know that from these 4 shapes, the line, the circle, the triangle, and the square, you get every esoteric shape and symbol in the mainstream and occult world today. It is your job to study these shapes and symbols and unlock their power and meaning, so that you may use them to develop and evolve your spirit and the universe as a whole.
That is strange. That's an odd-looking creature.
Hello, Donald.
That's me. Where am I?
Mathemagic Land.
Magic land? Never heard of it.
It's the land of great adventure.
Well, who are you?
I'm a spirit, the true spirit of adventure.
That's for me. What's next?
A journey through the wonderland of mathematics.
Mathematics? That's for all kids.
It was our old friend Pythagoras who discovered that the pentagram was full of mathemagic. The two shorter lines combined exactly equal the third. And this line shows the magic proportions of the famous golden section. The second and third lines exactly equal the fourth. Once again, we have the golden section. But this is only the beginning. Hidden within the pentagram is a secret for creating a golden rectangle, which the Greeks admired for its beautiful proportions and magic qualities. The star contains the golden rectangle many times over. It's a most remarkable shape. It can mathematically reproduce itself indefinitely. All these rectangles have exactly the same proportions. This figure also contains a magic spiral that repeats the proportions of the golden section into infinity. To the Greeks, the golden rectangle represented a mathematical law of beauty. We find it in their classical architecture. The Parthenon, perhaps one of the most famous of early Greek buildings, contains many golden rectangles. These same golden proportions are also found in their sculpture. In the centuries that followed, the golden rectangle dominated the idea of beauty in architecture throughout the Western world. The Cathedral of Notre Dame is an outstanding example. The Renaissance painters knew this secret well. Today, the golden rectangle is very much a part of our modern world.
Spirit?
Wonderful, Donald. And now you're ready for the most exciting game of all.
Oh, boy.
And the playing field for this game is in the mind. Uh-oh. Look at the condition of your mind. Antiquated ideas, bungling, false concepts, superstitions, confusion. To think straight, we'll have to clean house. That's more like it. A nice clean sweep. This game is played with circles and triangles. Think of a perfect circle. A perfect circle. Perfect circle. Perfect. Put a triangle inside and turn it. Now spin the circle. And what have you got?
A ball.
Yes, a sphere. The shape of things is first discovered in the mind. Let's get back to our circle and triangle. Roll it, and we have a
wheel.
The circle has been the basis for many of man's important inventions. The mind can create the most amazing things. If we spin the triangle, we have a
Cone.
slice the cone. The cone is full of useful mathematical shapes. Slice it again. Slice it several times. The orbits of all planets and satellites can be found in the cone. No matter how you slice it, it's always mathematics. The mind knows no limits when used properly. Think of a pentagram, Donald. Now put another inside, a third, and a fourth. No pencil is sharp enough to draw as fine as you can think, and no paper large enough to hold your imagination. In fact, it is only in the mind that we can conceive infinity. Mathematical thinking has opened the doors to the exciting adventures of science.
I'll be doggone. I've never seen so many doors before.
Each discovery leads to many others, an endless chain.
What's the matter with these doors? Hey! These doors won't open. They're locked.
Of course they are locked. These are the doors of the future, and the key is...
Mathematics.
Right. Mathematics. The boundless treasures of science are locked behind those doors. In time, they will be opened by the curious and inquiring minds of future generations.
Now that's it for this episode, but please join us again for episode 2 of the Symbolism series, which will be the occult symbolism of Freemasonry, where I'll be breaking down the compass and the square, the obelisk, the pyramid, on the back of the dollar bill with the Eye of Horus, and much, much more. Till that time, always remember, the acquisition and application of knowledge is true power, and always keep it dragon and phoenix. Peace.